Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am filming again in the evening. It's been a very busy social month for me, so the best time for me to really set aside time for these videos is in the evening, but I hope you guys enjoy and don't mind this setup. Maybe the lighting's even better and clearer because I have a big ring light, studio lighting set up right now, but it's not bad. I'm not mad about it. There are fireworks going off at the moment, so I may have to take breaks just so that the audio isn't messed up because they can get really loud. So that's just a little disclaimer prior to the video, but it is going to be a really useful video with lots of tips and tricks talking about speeding up your manifestation, how to get more efficient, effective, faster results, avoid delays, and really kind of tips and tricks of applying the same principles, the key principles. It's not anything new, but it's a way of applying those principles in a slightly different way, or taking into consideration things that maybe you didn't think about, and that might be why you are not seeing super quick results. I'm going to give you all of these tips and tricks and advice in a moment, so you want to stay tuned all throughout the video to hear each step. Right before we get straight into my advice, I do offer coaching, so if you are struggling or you have extra questions beyond the topic of this video, you can work with me one-on-one. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, or that's not quite in the price range right now for you, then you can spend just $2.99 each month as becoming a LOA Coaching Darling member. So everything is on screen. Pause the video, everything is linked in the description box, and the join button is right below the screen. Now let's get straight into the advice. First off, everything has its own time. So yes, there are ways to speed up, prevent delays, work through issues where maybe, something you're doing or something you've been focusing on, there's something really negative, and that's what's kind of been a bit of a mental hurdle that's blocking you, and that you're not quite able to get over just yet. So there are, fireworks going off in the background. Yes, there are ways to speed up and prevent delays, but I'm not saying that, going from really negative circumstances that you are mentally and consciously aware of to overnight in 12 hours getting a proposal from your SP, becoming completely madly in love, getting a million text messages a day, and all the circumstances from 12 hours earlier having no effect on you. It's extremely unlikely to happen that way because consciously, logically, and subconsciously, your mind probably won't be able to let go of things that easily and shift that quickly. So yes, everything has its own natural time frame, so do keep in mind that even a week or 2 weeks might not be the time that you get your manifestation, and that's okay. You just have to persist a little bit longer, and that's still pretty quick. Even if you get your manifestation in 3 weeks, I consider that a very successful manifestation. So remember that everything does have its own time frame. There is a natural period and development and unfolding for your manifestation. So do keep in mind that just because it's not happening overnight doesn't mean that you should be impatient, analyze circumstances, or start to panic. But having said that, of course, you can prevent delays. If you feel that it's been really long, or you've been persisting and you feel like you're not quite sure what it is that's holding you back, but you feel like you've just seen or felt zero movement happening, then yes, you can prevent those delays, and it's possible to speed things up even just a little bit. One little tip and trick where you would be taking the mental focus and repetition would be maybe doing visualization. So you can focus on what you are manifesting as your end result, and when you wake up, before you go to bed, or even just once a day to start your day, maybe just keep that in your mind. Start off your day with your visualizing and having the mental focus be on what you're manifesting. 5 minutes before you get out of bed, visualize your end result. Think about and imagine a scene that implies your end result, whether it's a relationship with your SP, whatever it may be. Seeing this scene play out, just 5 minutes, looping it over and over and imagining as if you're already living your life that way. That's a good way to start off your day on the right track. Focus on what you want so your mind doesn't go to autopilot. Everyone's favorite tip and the most obvious one is a strict mental diet. Being aware of your thoughts, being aware of the negative circumstances, the repetitive negative thoughts, and what you shouldn't be focusing on, the circumstances, and recognizing those and then flipping them around, turning it back around into the positive opposite, acknowledging where your maybe negative thought patterns are and the bad habits, and just being able to flip them around and apply your mental diet. So really think about what triggers you. Be consciously aware throughout the day, set an intention to recognize and kind of unravel the issues and kind of delve into it without, you know, almost like giving yourself therapy, like seeing what triggers you, what's the root of the issue. Is it self-concept, you know, comparing yourself? Is it, you know, looking up things on social media that triggers you? Recognize where those lie so that you can stop that habit, turn that pattern back around, and really catch it with your mental diet. And write a list based on this. So you're speeding things up by catching those thoughts. You're preventing the cycle from going on for a day or even weeks longer. And you're saying, no, 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 this is what triggers me. This is what I need to stop doing. This is what I need to be aware of. I recognize the issue here and I can turn it around now. Because the first step is always to recognize what it is you're doing. And you know what your end goal is, what you want to actually achieve. So write it out, write a list and say, when I go on social media, you know, when this happens, when that happens, and you can kind of analyze and break down all the key areas and maybe habits that you personally have trigger you, or even just 3D circumstances. You know, I react strongly when I see this, when this happens, when this person says this to me. So then you know, be on your mental diet during that time and maybe try to disengage a little from those things. Of course, robotic affirming throughout the day, looping your affirmations is always the key, but throughout the day, multitask, doing your makeup, or just doing your skincare. You know, if you're a guy, you don't wear makeup, whatever the case may be, cleaning, cooking, walking, going to the gym, whatever your routine might look like. When you have the time in your mind, mentally loop your affirmations, tell yourself your affirmations, build up a habit based on that. That kind of thing where you're focused throughout your day on your desire is really going to help speed things up. And of course, setting a timer when you're affirming. So you know how long it's been, you know the time you've dedicated. Okay, I've done at least 30 minutes today. That's a good. That's my goal, at least 30 minutes of affirming. Because you might say it 5, 10, 15 times. And to you, it might be like, oh, I've done a whole minute, but really it's been like 20 seconds, let's say. So it's important to actually quantify it as well. So you know, not just, you know, oh, I've been painting my nails and I've said it, but really you've only said it 10 times, but knowing I set a timer and during that time, I was literally just saying it over and over. So you know that you really have put in the effort, you've put in the time to loop your affirmations. I would also finally recommend maybe focusing more on self-concept, a self-concept manifestation, working on your assumptions and your beliefs around your ability, who you are as a person, your power, and you as a manifester. So I've written down a couple of example affirmations, things like, everything in my life is perfect, I get everything I want easily, only my positive thoughts manifest. These are all great examples where you are building up your power, recognizing that you're the creator of your reality, things are working out for you, you don't need to worry, your life is perfect. And because they're kind of blanket affirmations, they could work really, really powerfully in ways that you wouldn't have even imagined. So these are all examples of things that you can do and incorporate every day into calming your thoughts down and calming down your conscious mind so you don't panic or overthink things, and also get into positive thought patterns where you're not catastrophizing or going to worst case scenario. You're telling yourself, actually, everything's going to be okay, and I actually think my life is amazing. So you're telling yourself things like that, and it's really, really going to help. It's going to build up day by day. So these are all tips and examples that you can incorporate, perhaps some basic steps that maybe you kind of forgot about along the way. So yeah, definitely lots of important tips in this video, I think. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you guys found use in this and found some really great tips and points to maybe go over again. And do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell if you enjoyed, and stay tuned for next week's video, or a video for next time. Bye!